Greetings, my wonderful students. Today we discuss the U.S. war with Mexico, the New Mexico Territory. The New Mexico Territory included what is today New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. The Spanish claimed it in the 1500s, and they founded the city of Santa Fe in 1610. When Mexico won its independence in 1821, it encouraged trade with the United States to boost their economy. William Becknell became the first American trader to reach Santa Fe, and his route became known as the Santa Fe Trail. Santa Fe Trail started near Independence, Missouri, and went to the Arkansas River and followed it towards the Rocky Mountains before turning south. This route was mainly flat and easier to travel with wagons full of goods. As trade increased, Americans began settling in the area, and some felt that gaining control of New Mexico was part of manifest destiny. California's Spanish culture. Now, the Spanish had settled in California in the 1700s. They wanted to convert the Native Americans to Christianity and the Spanish way of life. When Mexico gained independence, California became a Mexican state. They set up large ranches called ranchos, and they had Native Americans working them. Now, the rancheros, or owners of the ranchos, treated the Native Americans poorly. In the 1840s, Americans began talk of adding California to the Union and gaining its rich natural resources. The country would be safer if it was bordered by the Pacific Ocean rather than by another country. Merchants also wanted to gain ports on the Pacific coast for trade with Asia. President Polk offered to buy California and New Mexico, but Mexico refused. Polk planned to gain the territories through war and tried to get Mexico to strike first so that he could justify going to war with Mexico. Now, the border between Texas and Mexico was disputed, and Polk sent a representative to discuss the issue along with California and New Mexico. The U.S. offered $30 million for California and New Mexico as long as Mexico accepted the Rio Grande River as the border of Texas and Mexico. Mexico refused and said they intended to reclaim Texas for Mexico. So Polk ordered U.S. forces under General Zachary Taylor to the disputed territory along the Rio Grande. Mexican forces attacked the U.S. troops, and President Polk told Congress that Mexico had invaded U.S. territory and killed American soldiers. Congress declared war on Mexico. Polk's plan to defeat Mexico consisted of three parts. First was to drive Mexican forces out of Texas, which was accomplished by General Taylor in 1847. Second was to seize New Mexico and California, which progressed when General Stephen Kearny captured New Mexico's capital, Santa Fe, in 1846. And third was to capture Mexico City itself and force a Mexican surrender. American settlers, encouraged by General John Fremont, began an uprising in California before the war even began. The settlers overcame the Mexican presence in the territory and proclaimed that California was independent. Within a month, American warships arrived in San Diego and San Francisco, and the California Republic agreed to join the United States. Mexico still refused to surrender, so General Winfield Scott landed troops at Veracruz and marched towards Mexico City. In 1847, Scott's forces captured Mexico's capital city. Peace terms. Mexico's leaders signed the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which gave the U.S. the territory that became known as the Mexican Cession. This included California, Nevada, Utah, most of Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. Mexico accepted the Rio Grande as the border of Texas, and the U.S. agreed to pay Mexico $15 million and assumed the $3.2 million debt that Mexico owed to U.S. citizens. And that is the end of this slideshow.